Welcome to Quest, a journey to wellness. On this podcast, you'll hear stories from queer folks and allies who've taken their happiness and well-being into their own hands by examining what they have found helpful along the way. My name is V, aka Vanessa. I'm a two-spirit human, joy influencer, energy worker, and a dad joke connoisseur. All pronouns accepted. And Happy New Year, folks! It's our first episode of 2023. I'm joined by our special co-host, Kori Houston. We're going to be diving into anti-New Year resolutions, and we'll share all the exciting details about what's to come on the pod. We hope this podcast brings you joy, where you'll learn, laugh, heal, and grow. Well, hello there, queer kittens. Welcome, new and old. We have Kori Houston with us, who is our executive producer. And for those who are familiar with us and have listened to our past episodes, he was from episode 5, Embracing the Shadows. For those of y'all who haven't listened, check it out. What's up, Kori?
Howdy. Happy to be back.
Good. Yeah, happy to have you back.
Yeah. I am Kori Houston. My pronouns are he, him, they, them. I'm a trans, masc, indigenous, queer human. I am a co-founder of Kanoko Chocolates, which is a functional chocolate mushroom company utilizing lion's mane and cordyceps and other beneficial mushrooms to produce specific effects. I'm also an executive producer of this podcast and currently stepping in as a host for the time being. I love getting lost in nature, psychedelics, and anything reckless.
Oh, man. Hey, and just for those listeners that don't really know what functional mushrooms are, and can you say a little bit more about that just so they don't get specific effects confused with psychedelic effects?
So lion's mane and cordyceps, reishi, chaga, all of those mushrooms would be considered gourmet mushrooms or functional mushrooms, which means that they have benefits. So they aren't psychedelic benefits. You're not going to go hallucinating. For instance, lion's mane is good for helping rebuild neurosheath and pathways for cognition. Cordyceps is really good for energy. It's good for recovery after workouts. Reishi is known as longevity, so it's good with like rebuilding cells. I think, chaga has anti-cancer fighting properties. So a lot of these mushrooms that we see out there have a lot of health benefits. I mean, technically, we can't claim them as benefits, but we do utilize those mushrooms in our chocolates.
There's lots of science out there to prove what y'all are doing, so.
If you believe in nature and its medicine, then you believe in functional foods and adding them into your daily life.
I'm gonna snap to that one. So, we got some great news.
Mm-hmm.
Big win. Apple Podcasts picked up our podcast and threw it in their first slot under New Beginnings.
Yeah.
And Alina, as you can tell, is not here with us. But we're hoping she's just on hiatus and we will have her back.
Yes, this is a labor of love for us. And so coming into this new year, Elena has a lot on her plate and wasn't able to come back. One way we can help bring her back is supporting the podcast. We set up a donation page on our link tree that goes towards this labor of love. Everyone on the Quest team is freely giving their time and energy toward the production of this podcast. You can pay through PayPal or Venmo, so you know it's super legit. And it's easy to donate. You can donate whatever you can, whether that's 2, 5, 10, whatever it is. It would all be so appreciated. Your donation will help keep this podcast going. So if you like what you're hearing and you find value in what we're doing, please, anything counts. You can go to the link tree to donate in the show notes and click on that donate button.
And maybe we'll get Alina back. Speaking of Alina, I got to see her over the holidays.
Oh yeah, tell me how was your holidays? What did you end up doing?
Well, My holidays was a little tricky this year because I've had some health stuff coming up. So trying to be sober around family was definitely tricky, but I made it fun. We do a little gambling on Christmas, so
Ooh.
it's fun for all ages. The first winner of the first game was 8 years old, so anyone can play.
What kind of gambling?
It's called LCR.
What is that?
Start off with $3. You roll dice, but I could tell you about that later because it's a lot more time than we had for me to explain.
I'm like, yeah, gambling. Let's do it.
Yeah.
No, that sounds fun.
It's been 10 years and it was my first time ever winning. And I won the high stakes game where $15 you go in, but it was like a lot of us. So
Yes, big family, big times.
$15 with like 15 heads. You know what that's up.
Damn, that sounds good. Yeah, so being sober was
Yeah, I had a little juice box, one of the kids' juice box, and I was like sipping on it through the straw, feminine, with my pinky out, and like being like, "Whoa, what you got against my juice box?" I fucking love juice box.
classic. I love that.
Yeah, and they left me alone about drinking.
That's
but then my
nice.
dad at the end, he was like, "What's up with the juice box? How come you weren't drinking with us?" And I was just like, "This is what's up, Dad." And then he's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll get you juice boxes next year."
That's cute. That's nice. So you're like abstaining from alcohol, period.
Period. Yeah, because I have a new medication that's going to basically kind of like help keep the function of my kidneys because not everybody knows, but now you know, surprise. I was born with a kidney disease and it's called polycystic kidney disease. So ever since I was a kid, it's been kind of like slowly taking the function of my kidneys down. So this medication I'm about to go on is going to keep the function at where it's at right now and hopefully, maintain it for more years because if I don't get on that, then I'm at risk for being on dialysis within a year. So we're trying to stop that, and giving up drinking is worth getting more years of my life back.
Oh my God, 100%. Alcohol is probably one of the like lowest vibe drugs there is, in my opinion. I think.
Yeah, but it's so hard.
It is.
Being a bartender and being Latin, like it's part of my culture and part of my job.
Well, like in the queer community too, a lot of people drink. A lot of people, their social time is going out and drinking, and a lot of things around that happen. Like, for instance, a lot of coping skills are learned through drinking, especially in queer community.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me, that was a thing that I used to cope with where I was at in life. And it's really hard. There's a lot of peer pressure involved in it. There's a lot of like wanting to just let go of things involved with it. Yeah, and this year I actually learned about dry January for the first time, which is crazy because I did some research on it. I saw something. I was like, dry January? What the hell is this? Yeah, apparently everybody knows about it except for me. I live under a rock. It's been going on this year, 2023, is actually the 10-year anniversary of when the campaign started, and it started in the UK. And they basically created a campaign around detox. Not even detoxing. They were like, it's not even detoxing after the holidays. It's geared towards like moderate drinkers who might drink too often or too much. So it's not geared toward the people who are detoxing or people who have dependency issues. It's like a moment of self-reflection to kind of see where you are with your abilities of like not drinking. So encourage you to consider your alcohol consumption, inspire you to change your behaviors, and then also just like start conversations around alcohol, which I think is really important because a lot of us see alcohol as the exception to drugs, right? It's like coffee, alcohol, like it's so ubiquitous and prevalent everywhere you go that it's hard to abstain from it.
For me, I can do dry January no problem, easy. But in terms of like long term, like I've done 2 years sober, easy. But what is hard for me now is that now that I know I have better control over it, now I can be like, oh, I got home from a long day. I just want to have a beer and chill. But now, I can't do that anymore. So I had to go another route, and I was like, I need the science. I need the science. Somebody needs to tell me what the hell alcohol does to my body, to my brain. So I found this neuroscientist professor from Stanford who has a podcast but also has videos on YouTube. His name is Andrew Huberman. We will put a link in the show notes to this exact YouTube video that I'm describing. And he was talking about just like even just one drink a day, that it like messes with your digestion. It messes with like what they call as the hippocampus, is like the way your memory is. And to me, I just imagine a bunch of hippos on a campus, and they're at like the university is my memory, and that when alcohol starts going in my body, is like hippos just start disappearing.
They just start passing out. Campus full of passed out hippos.
Yeah. So no one's working. So my memory is just like non-existent,
Down
and
the
that
drain.
kind of like freaks me out because I already forget stuff so much.
Oh, me too.
And this might be why. And,
Yeah.
and alcohol like stresses your cells out.
Oh, yeah.
Like actually like damages and stresses out your cells. And I do energy work, and I'm always like, your cells are what's going to heal you. And I'm over here like drinking and damaging and beating up my cells. And I'm just like, okay, the science is going to help me like get my shit together, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like when you can cut alcohol out, you get better sleep, better energy, lower blood pressures, lower cholesterol. It's a bunch of sugars too, so you lose weight, you save money. Like think about it. Every drink you buy out at a bar is now what, $20? Jeez, like
Yeah. Speaking of all those benefits, though, what are your thoughts on New Year's resolutions?
I don't subscribe to New Year's resolutions. I don't subscribe to much that society like goes with. I'm kind of like that black sheep. Like even dry January, I don't usually drink, but dry January, I'm now drinking. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a 6-pack of beer, just to kind of go against the grain. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I don't buy beer. I don't really drink. I like the psychedelics more, but now I'm like, I'm gonna do this now that you say don't. But resolutions, I have a hard time committing to resolutions, especially a year-long commitment to a resolution. I feel like personally, I am constantly changing. So to be like, oh, this one thing I'm gonna put top of my list to really focus on. It's like, it makes me feel bad if I don't get around to it. It makes me feel like, maybe I'm not doing enough. And I already have that problem of like, am I doing enough? I have like imposter syndrome. So I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not actually. And so it's like, you know what? I don't want to subscribe to that. Every new season, every month is like a whole new like revamp of what I'm doing and my habits and my behaviors. Everything in my life is so in limbo that I have to constantly change what I prioritize for myself as far as like well-being or things like that. So it's like some months I want to focus on journaling and some months I want to focus on cooking, and I can't do them both for some reason. It's just like a disconnect.
I'm right there with you. I don't like New Year's resolutions because then it makes me think that what I did the year before wasn't good enough. So it keeps me in that like scarcity mindset of like, you didn't do enough, or, where in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Last year I did my best I could do in what I had. And so now instead, like, I'm also, spiritual and stuff like that. And I prefer doing either new moon ceremonies or full moon ceremonies where I just set an intention for that month, because every month, like you said, just like me, things change. Different intentions I want to have month to month, even sometimes week to week. So to think of like, oh, I want to be like this for the rest of this year. And then when you don't fall into it, you're just like, damn, I'm fucking up. And then you're just in the mindset of like,
You're like, I'm slipping.
Exactly. And then you're again like, I'm not good enough. It's almost like the AA thing, it's like day by day, like not like full year thing. Like make it realistic.
Like if your intention is to have something intentional I think that's good enough. Like if you can put intention into some of the things you do or like some one thing every day, I think you're on a path of like success. And everything comes in small bites too. So like you're not going to get this whole thing done at one time. So I mean, I guess the intentions are nice to have there as a goal, but like to hold yourself to it, and not like in the way of like holding yourself accountable to it, but like being so firm and rigid to it, I just feel like puts a lot more stress on our daily living than we need, because like daily living is already hard enough, right? So
100%.
I like the new moon cycle intentional stuff. My partner has been sending me like new moon meditations, and I've been trying to do those, and those have been really nice to like go into those and set the intention and dive into that.
Yeah, I'll send you a prayer then.
Oh,
I got you.
heck yeah. I'm down.
But I will say, on the whole New Year's resolutions thing, I think what I do really enjoy to do is to like actually sit there and kind of either write down or just think about all the successes I had the year before.
Yes.
Celebrating what you've done, gratitude for what you've done. So you're not just like sitting in, I could have done more.
Yeah.
I should have done more. Or should have done less.
Yeah, let's take those moments to actually like appreciate and acknowledge our wins. Like let's do that more instead of like, oh, a new year, new things to focus on. It's like, well, did you even acknowledge how you did last year? Like even if it was hard, you made it, you're here. Like let's acknowledge those small wins more than already like moving on to the next thing.
Exactly.
I agree with you on that.
What are some of your wins of 2022?
Oh boy, you go first, because then I'm going to copy you.
Woo!
I know,
You can't copy me.
No, it'll give me inspiration. I'll be like, oh, okay.
I think a really, really big one for me is radical self-care. I think to the point where, for me, I was always so used to just like doing everything for everybody else, to the point that I ended up in the hospital. And it was like my wake-up call of like, no, you can't keep doing everything for everyone else and not doing anything for yourself, because obviously I would keep doing it. My heart is huge, you know. Mm-hmm. You know me. I will keep going and keep going, but my body was like, bitch, you need to stop.
Yeah.
You need to slow down. My body's like, hold up. We can't keep doing this. You got to do it another way.
Sustainability.
Exactly. So just like being able to be vocal and be like, hey, you know, I actually like, this is not going to work out for me, or this is, and just kind of taking a big step back. And that was hard. It was very, very hard. It still is hard, but I'm doing it. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Now I'm rested, my blood pressure's down, my kidney function has been sustained, even without the medication yet, because I've been so scared to try it, to start it, but I need to get on it. Just taking care of me, like, and putting myself first. My dad's told me that since I was a kid. Put yourself first, and then take care of everyone else.
Yeah, no, that's smart. It's like the mask in the airplane. It's like you got to put it on you before you can pop it on your neighbor, the oxygen mask.
Yeah.
Because if you're rendered useless, you're helping nobody, right? And I think, honestly, not to detour too much, but that's the whole issue with martyrism for me, is that you sacrifice so much of yourself that you can no longer benefit those around you. You gotta...
Exactly. And as sick as I was, I could give everyone zero. And I'd rather give people like substantial little chunks of me than absolutely none, because I gave too much.
Exactly. I think martyrism is just like the complete extreme of selflessness. Is like too far. So we got to bring it back in. But everybody idealizes the martyr, and it's like, I don't know about that. I won't get into the religion talk right now, but not my cup of tea.
But if you look at it in that way, me taking care of myself makes me a better lover to everyone and not sexually.
I think love and compassion kind of go hand in hand, right? So the more love you can spread, the more compassion and understanding you have for other people, which leaves you to like less judgment, more openness, more like acceptance and love. And when you can do that for other people, you can kind of show them what they deserve from themselves, really. I think we should all kind of give ourselves that love, and maybe my resolution is more self-love. Selfish self-love.
Oh, now you believe in resolutions?
Nah, I take it back. I can't commit.
Your full moon intention?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I could do that one.
Yeah, and self-love floods over onto other people.
Oh, all the time. It's just like when your cup is full, it just leaks into everybody else, and it's nice.
You can leak on me.
Okay. Dang. I guess I will.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn. Oh God. So I have such a hard time with this because I feel like everything I do is so intertwined with everything, like all aspects of my life are intertwined with just day to day. So like whenever I think about what was my big win, I want to like say it's with work, but you know what? I think my biggest win this year was actually having like like a mental breakdown, but being able to share where I was at with the people that I love the most, even like when conflict arose because of it, I was still able to stand there and just kind of be like, I'm trying to figure me out. I don't know what's going on. I have all of these feelings. I'm trying to understand them as they're happening, being able to work through all of those challenges within myself and maintain relationship with the people around me who are closest, who is getting like the brunt of like my spiral. So I think that was my biggest one, was just being able to navigate that with love and understanding, and have, you know, the people around me, like having them stick by and like just trying to be as open and clear, like I was gonna say clairvoyant, open and clear. Like Miss Cleo now. No, but
The cards never lie.
Yeah. Have you seen the documentary on that? You should.
No.
Anyway,
I just saw a preview yesterday.
it's pretty interesting. But yeah, like being able to do that. I'm proud of myself for navigating that with the intense feelings that I was having, and everything that just felt like I was just like digging myself into this rut, but I was able to pull out, and thank you to all the people that were around me too. So big win.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And you know, it's funny that we're talking about big wins. During the holidays, I had seen my nephews, and right now one of them is being potty trained. And every time he used the toilet, he was so excited. And he was like, I did it. So now, like, anytime, like, I finish something, even if it's small, I kind of, like, get really excited. And now I go, I did it.
Yeah.
To, like, have, like, a moment of, like, celebration for even a little success.
That little split, like, release of dopamine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that feels good. You
Right.
know, what you can learn from a 3-year-old.
Honestly, the kids have a lot to teach you. A lot to
Oh,
teach
yeah.
everybody. You, the general you.
Oh, yeah. My nephews definitely have taught me a lot.
Yeah. They're wonderful little creatures.
I just wanted to also, going into that and just kind of spotlighting nephews, we had a great idea about doing like a community spotlight, and we just kind of wanted to like let everyone know. Send us in any people that you would want us to like shout out that are inspirational to you, that we can shout out on here and put a spotlight on them for the work that they're doing and how they're inspiring people. And we would love to like share them as a resource for other people to also be inspired by them. So send in your community shout out to us on Instagram at Quest Wellness Pod, or email us wellnesspod@gmail.com.
We have been a little more geared toward the Bay Area, California region. So with our reach, we kind of want to make this a little more national. So if you're in a rural town and you have someone that you want to shout out because they make a huge impact or a small impact or just something that you look forward to on a daily basis, you found your community and you want to give them a shout out and say like thank you. I think this is going to be how we can kind of create those little mycelial networks between smaller and bigger towns, get everybody out there learning about what's around them. And I think that that's a better way for us to kind of contribute to creating this whole quest community.
Yes, I love that. And I love that mycelial word that you use. It made me think of the mycelium, like the network of mushrooms and how it connects everything, all the world. If you haven't seen a documentary, How to Change Your Mind, it'll explain it all.
Exactly. I'm a big mushroom fan, psychedelics, but mycelium networks underground, I mean, huge. That's how trees communicate with each other. Is the mycelium connects to their root systems and just like spreads through, and each tree can talk through the mycelium that connects to another tree. So they can pass nutrients, they can pass like terpenes. So if there's anything going on, any stress like related things, they can pass on information and warn other trees. They can like, it's really awesome. So that's kind of like what I envision Quest as, is just this big mycelial network, and I wanted to reach out and span and just create community where we can share.
I love that. One of my friends is battling stage 4 cancer right now, and I went to visit her during Christmas, and I was like, if there was anything that you could have, what would it be? And she actually asked for some mycelium, some psilocybin mushrooms, and I have a friend who makes chocolates with some psilocybin. So it's more easy to microdose, or it's easier to dose however you want with this bar. And so I wanted to give her something that was easy to take, but also tasty. And her dream, not her dream, well, I guess her wish was to be able to have like a decent trip, but have a trip with her daughter, because her daughter moved here from Poland to be able to help her mother out during her current battle right now with stage 4. And in order for them to get a little closer, she wants to be able to have a trip where she's laying on the bed with her daughter, holding hands, and they're having the same experience or going through an experience together. And I thought that was really beautiful. And now she actually microdoses them to also help with pain management. It was really special to hear you talk about mycelium in that way, and that I was able to provide something to someone that helps her also feel more connected to her daughter, which is really beautiful. And I just completely thought about it. I was just talking like all of y'all knew what psilocybin and mycelium and all of that is. I know you got a little about mycelium through Kori, but psilocybin, for those of y'all that don't know, is the part of the mushroom that kind of gives you the hallucinogen part. I'm not the science guy. Kori knows more of this, but it's what connects you to your body, connects you to nature. Like, I guess is the part that gets you high. So I hope that helps.
What a beautiful request of this life to share that journey with someone. And I think mushrooms or psychedelics in general, specifically mushrooms, are a lot more emotional. And I feel like they just tap you into realms of reality that are just non observable to us in sobered mindsets. But I don't want to say sobered as a negative or positive connotation, just like without influence of other things. And when we put it into our body, it really works as a medicine, and it shows us parts of ourselves and parts of the world around us that lie dormant without it. And I think that's a wonderful gift or like experience to share.
I feel that psilocybin mushrooms is just healing for humans and also can be healing for this planet. I think it could save us all. Maybe we'll have an episode or two about how mushrooms can really save the world, to where like it can break down plastic, it can break down all of these oil spills, it can break down a lot of,
Eats radiation.
there's just so much that
Honestly.
it can do for this planet. Maybe we'll have a future episode on
You
it.
can make building materials. You could turn it into leathers. You can use it as fire starters. You can use it as like all sorts of things. We should have like a bunch of episodes on that.
Yeah, I'd love that. And speaking of future episodes, our next episode we have Kaylin Marsall. We're going to be talking about body positivity, which I'm hella excited for.
Yeah, honestly, that's always such a good one. I love this topic. It makes me very reflective on my past with my own relationship to body, and just knowing firsthand accounts on what it's like to be dissociated from body and to be present in body. It's night and day. And so it's really an interesting topic that I would love to like get out here for everybody to listen to.
Yeah, I hope all y'all are excited too.
She'll be on our next episode to give us a little education on body empowerment and represent some humans with vulvas, which I think everybody on our show has one.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. So her partner is Kinjay, who is also on the show. During the Some of Us, they had an interview that we posted. And
Like episode 2, I believe.
Yeah, episode 2, they talked about community as well. And I know that Kaylin had a workshop at Some of Us where you got a mirror and you painted your own vagina. So I thought that was actually really cool and like liberating and scary, and like to put everything out there and just be like, okay, I'm going to look at myself and I'm going to draw a representation of what I'm seeing. And I think that's like,
Yeah, it was called
really
Draw Your
bold.
Bits.
Is that what it was called? Draw your bits. Yeah. That makes sense. Get your bits out and draws them.
I thought that was pretty awesome too. And what was really exciting is that during that whole festival, she was pregnant.
Yeah, she just
She
had
was
her baby.
pregnant.
Such a cute little bean. I got to see baby Rome, the other day. So tiny. I felt like
Aw.
when I was holding the baby, I was like, oh no. I was nervous to drop it, but I knew I wasn't going to, but it's so wiggly. I was like, oh man. But we're going to be lucky enough to get to take a little bit of her time and have her on our show to educate and share.
Hell yeah.
Get your bits ready.
I love it. Get your bits ready, y'all.
You better get your bits out. Get your bits out, baby.
Yeah. Oh man, but
Yeah.
this has been a fun episode. Chatting about
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions versus new moon or full moon intention settings, alcohol use.
I just wanted to throw this out there with the alcohol and everything. There are some ways you can fight temptations and urges, and there's, usually just avoiding temptations by creating a support group or friends or finding other activities to do. And also there's alternatives. So non-alcoholic drinks, you could do some mocktails, which is a vodka cocktail. No, mocktails. You could do mocktails, read a book, meditate. Those are ways to like relax without alcohol, because you were saying you like to have a beer and relax. So you can go for a walk, take a bath, do some yoga exercises. If you want to do non-alcoholic drinks, there's non-alcoholic beers, there's mocktails, club sodas, ginger beers, teas, maybe drink the water that you should be drinking. I just want to give a warning to anybody who does have alcohol dependency, and this is not me coming to the table with any medical history. I'm not a medical professional in any way. However, I do have firsthand experience with people who've quit cold turkey, and it led to severe depression and anxiety with visual hallucinations. And so quitting cold turkey, there's a couple of signs that you can see, and that's going to be anxiety, depression. It's going to be seizures, difficulty sleeping, shaking or sweating. You can have the potential visual hallucinations. And alcohol is actually one of the most lethal drugs to quit cold turkey from. It damages so much of your body, and stopping it can be really dangerous. If you find any of those symptoms and you like are trying to quit, I would not suggest, and again, not a medical professional here, but I would not suggest continuing without medical supervision to intervene with that decision of quitting. There's medications that they can help give you that will help alleviate some of the withdrawal symptoms, and there's definitely places you can go to help with that if that is the place that you are in.
And be kind to yourself while you're doing it.
Oh yeah, take it easy.
And I'm doing it with you. With all the alcohol talk that we've had, we just want to make sure that we're just passing some information and just doing some storytelling and not necessarily passing any judgment. So I hope that it came across as just information based and storytelling, and no judgment is coming from us. Well, thank you, Queer Kittens, for tuning in, and hope that you enjoyed this episode, and hope that you're also looking forward to the next episode with Kayla and Marisol. We're really excited, and see you in a couple weeks. Or hear your earballs. I don't know. Be in your earballs in a couple weeks.
Be all up in them. La, 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 la.
Right? Bring those bits.
Thank you guys for tuning in and dropping out. Take care. Till next time.
Love you, Queer Kittens. We have so much more to explore and to share with you. Tap that follow or subscribe button to get every episode as soon as it's released. Leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And join our wellness community on Instagram at Quest Wellness Pod. Also, be an official supporter of this podcast by leaving us a tip. The link will be in the show notes. This podcast was produced in collaboration by Kinoko Chocolates and Puka Puka Creative. Executive producers Stevie Kwa and Kori Houston. Producer, editor, sound designer Leah Jackson. Associate producer Rafaela Landestoy. Original music produced by Basque. His music is amazing. And we can't forget about the emotional support of our fur babies by Frankie, Ruby, Nugget, and Pukalani.
Bring your bits, because we're going to be in your ear. Oh, wait, no. Don't delete that. I don't know. I'm nervous.
I love it.